Hey YouTube, this is my very first YouTube video that I'm putting together. We're going to start out with the game Enshrouded. It's one of my favorite games to play. To date, I have over 400 hours into this game. The game was released last year in January as a early access game. I did not start playing it until May. Kind of played it in spurts. As they did updates, it would pull me back in again. And the biggest update that they did, which really transformed the game a lot, was in November. So currently, you can see here, I am at level 35, which is the maximum level that you can reach so far in this game. Prior to the major update, at the end of 2024, the highest level was 25. My channel is just baby mode because I play games on baby mode, which is the easiest mode available in a game. And actually, with this game, I started out playing at the regular level. They didn't have difficulty settings brought about until actually, I think, like this fall with one of those updates. So that's when you could first start adjusting the difficulty levels and other things like your health, the number of items that gets dropped. So through about level 20, I played everything on regular mode. But once that option became available to reduce difficulty, I took advantage of that because why work harder than you have to? I'm not the biggest fan of, fighting monsters and dying all the time. I'm more into the creative aspect of it, of building things, completing the quests, and getting the new items. So I am going to take you around my existing world for a minute here, and then we're going to start all over from scratch. Wipe everything out. Well, I'm not going to wipe it out. I'll leave it to play when I want to play. But for this, I will create a whole new world and start over at level 1. So this here where I am right now, this is my sky base. I can show you later on, once we restart, how to build something like this. But this is thousands of feet up in the air. Would totally recommend at least putting up a little mini platform high up in the air. Once you get one of the better gliders that are available in the game, you can glide anywhere. So just looking out over the edge of mine from up here, you can fly anywhere on the map from up here. So very cool to have, especially if you build it earlier in the game. It'll help you get to places that you might not be able to get to otherwise, or that would take you a long time. So this is my sky base. I call it Sky City. Here is the alchemist's house. I built a house for each of my survivors, as they're called. Kind of basic. Here you can make different things like that we're going to need throughout the game. He's got the grinder. He's got a house. This was something I had to collect in 2 pieces. The alchemist wall hanging. It unlocks some other recipes. And then every survivor or villager in the game also needs a bed to be assigned to. So that's his simple little house. Next to him we have the blacksmith's house. And he has different things in here like smelters, kilns, and he makes different metals and other items that you'll need for weapons and various products. This makes metal sheets, and you have to grind away at getting each one of these one by one by completing different quests. This is his bedroom. There's 2 beds up in here because as you get further in the game, you can also find other survivors. One of the survivors that he requested that I find is his daughter. So this house started out as a single story, and then when I got his daughter, I added another level to it and put both beds upstairs. And as I got like the larger smelter to do more advanced metals. This is another house. This is just one that I use to stop in and sleep at. Got a kitchen, fireplace, dining area. Upstairs is a bedroom, sleep in there, and another bed. Next to that, I have a supply storage building. I have a bunch of magic chests over here, which are handy because you don't have to go and actually retrieve each item when you're at one of the different survivors making different items. And then I also have a bunch of regular chests because at one point in the game I didn't have enough shroud spores to make them all magical, so I have a combo of magical and regular ones and different sizes. A little bit further down the road we have the bard's house, Valerie. She's got a little fireplace, kitchen, dining area, fireplace there. I want to make sure everybody's house has a fireplace because it keeps it warm. And she also has a bed. She doesn't really have need for a second level yet. I think I was going to add some stairs in here, but I lost track and didn't get back to it. Across the street here, that was one of our villagers. This is our inn. As you progress through the game, you can find different villagers, lost souls, and collect them, bring them to your town. Some of them are family members of other characters, and they all need a bed. So, kind of got started on that. Got some different beds here, give them a place to live. I still need to do more work on it. I gave them a dining area and a kitchen, but other than that I haven't gotten back to finishing it and making it look more livable. This here is a greenhouse. This goes with the farmer who lives right here, this wooden house. The farmer, she makes most of the food, has all the recipes for food, animal food as well, different plants. So she has a nice kitchen and a stove, a dining area. Each one of my survivors, I put a magical chest to kind of fill it with some of the items that are related to what they can do. So as you can see, she's got things like flour, honey, wheat grains, milk, different plants like chamomile, honey, fruits. And then also I had made some food for different animals. So next to her, because it makes sense, she grows things, I gave her a little greenhouse. So we have some seed beds here. This is where we start them. Then once the plants are started, I plant them in here and they grow. It's a good idea to do that so you can just kind of stock up on different things. You don't always need to go out gathering. This is the hunter's house. Next to the hunter's house, I have a little dog house. I don't know if oh, yes, one of our dogs are in here. So I have 2 dogs. They have little dog beds, dog food. They hang out in there. They also roam around the village. This is the hunter's house. So she makes things like fur rugs, also different clothing. This is a tanning station, so she can make leather here. This is a drying rack. So for the drying rack, we can do dried purple berries, reptile leather, and also dried fur. Dried fur you need for beds. So you're going to want to get this early on in the game. Also have a loom over here. This is where we make fabric. Before you can make fabric, you need to first get this spinning machine. So the spinning machine, You can make linen, string, and wool. Wool comes later in the game. It's not early on in the game. And then, like all the others, she has a bedroom for herself. And she also has an upstairs with another extra bed in case we get some more people that might need to move in with her later. And then the last house here, this is the carpenter's house. He has a basement, so I put a basement in his just for spreading out some of his materials. There's a table saw here. You can use a table saw to make wood planks. Wood planks are used in some of the different building materials as well as different furniture that you can make throughout the game. And I'm just kind of putting some of this stuff away as I'm showing you the town. This is one of the other survivors that you could collect during the game. This is the carpenter's aunt. So I found her through a quest. Upstairs of the house, again, they have 2 beds, a fireplace, and a little desk, or table used as a desk. There's different ways you can do it. Some people build a different house for each person. Some build like one big house, like a common building for all of their survivors. I kind of like the idea of building a little city, so that's what I did here. And then all the way at the end here is another building that I started. It's definitely need to put more time into. The concept of this is a library. So you can see I got the shelving set up. This is some more the fancier blocks. But there are no books in here yet. So this is a library without books. But the villagers like to wander in here a lot, and I don't know what they do in there, but often see them coming and going. And then this last one is the house for I call him the creepy guy, but he's the collector. He has like the skeleton face and all of the Halloween decor. The blood red marble and velvet. So this is his house. He has like a little stove here. He has a table. Upstairs is his bedroom. Just a little stone bed, table, different lamps, fireplace. Another table for him to sit at. Next door to him, attached to his house, he also has a little mini mausoleum. There aren't any dead bodies in here, zombies or anything like that. But it's here if, we can collect those at some point in the future. Don't know what they have planned for the game. And then just to add to the creepy decor, put a little graveyard next to his house. Some nice, it's actually prison fencing, but I thought it worked good for the graveyard. And then this over here is my big castle. Intended this to be my house, but I've had to move in other people. That's one of my cats I collected, so I have a cat. This is one of the villagers that I found. Ran out of housing elsewhere, so I gave her one of the beds here. This is also my puppy. And it looks like I need to go make him some more food. So this castle is built with a lot of the more advanced materials that you can find later, the higher levels. So this is the kitchen. Tried to make it a little fancier here. We got a bronze sink, granite countertops. We got double ovens. We got some of the crystal glassware. And we got some nice little cupboard, the pitcher. This is our dining area. I think this is the obsidian wood, maybe? Granite and obsidian, and it's also got a little bit of amethyst. You can see that's the purple in it. This is the nice fireplace that you can get up in the Albanese Summits levels once you get access to things like iron, silver. You can see I also placed some banners, some of the nice fancier windows with the glass. So some nice little rugs. I made a little seating area here. This particular furniture you can unlock in the desert-like area, the Kindle Wastes. this is little bathrooms. Even they have bathrooms in the game. I did this one in bronze and stone. So you got the bathtub, little stone side table countertop thing, a bronze and stone sink, and then you have your little toilet there. Got a cat bed and dog bed. Every time you get a pet, they do need a bed. And this is one of the bedrooms. Again, this is furniture that you can unlock once you reach the Kindle Waste, which is essentially the desert, the hot, dry area of it, made out of sandstone, different fabrics. I'm not going to go through all the levels of the castle. It's not complete. There is a tower, too, that I started building. Want to put in some little cells in there, like for enemies that we might capture. Behind all these houses, I forgot to show you guys, I also have some areas for growing. So I put up a little field here, plant different plants in here right now. Let's see, we got forest beet and sage. They're ready to be picked. I'm not going to pick them now, but I will later. And they're not going to go away. They just stay there till you pick them. It does make sense, though, to pick them as soon as they're ready and then just plant a fresh new batch. You can plant the same thing. You can plant something different just to keep your resources going. And this is just a little building that I put together that only has the items that I grow. So once I grow them, it's easier to come over here and dump them off into one of the magic boxes. So you can see I have a lot of different things in here. I got corn, peppers, flowers, sugarcane, straw, indigo plants, saffron, etc. A lot of different things there. And then over here we have a barn. It's a very big barn. It's divided into two parts. This side is the goat barn. So you can see I have two different kinds of goat here. The white ones, you find these in the lower levels, so kind of at the start of the game. And you can collect milk from them. They're pretty easy to catch. And then these brown ones here are the frizzy goats. These ones you get later in the game up in the Albanese summit, so the very cold climate. You can collect milk from them as well, and it's called frizzy milk. So different ones are used for different recipes. Just like cats and dogs, every farm animal also needs a bed. I think I started out with 3 of the standard goats and 2 of the frizzy goats. And then if you have 2 of an animal and they're sufficiently fed and you have extra beds, they'll start having babies. So you can see the little guys running around. This is a baby. You can go up to him. It says upgrade. So you can click on E and then it upgrades it. Now it's an adult. Same with this little guy. We can upgrade him. And I think we need to get some more food for them soon, because they're all saying they're hungry. Probably going to need to get some more beds soon as well. But yeah, see, that one has the little bed symbol. So that means we're going to need to get another bed. We've exceeded the capacity of the beds that we have. So we would have to go to the farmer to create another bed. Also go to the farmer to create more food. On this side of the barn we have, these are the yaks. So this is a baby yak, just like the other ones. This is a yak barn, so I have a lot of beds in here. The yaks seem to breed extremely fast. So, you know, once you start getting to capacity, you gotta kill off some of the adults. You get some meat and some wool from them. And they'll breed again. As long as you have 2 of them, they start breeding. I had to add some more beds and food outside because it got filled inside. And then back here I have a little bunny house. Started out with 2 bunnies and 2 beds and 2 food bowls for them. And the bunnies also started breeding, and it looks like I need to get another bed. So they are little tiny guys. Don't really get anything from them. They just look cute and hop around. So far, I don't know. The developers could add something later where you can make rabbit stew or something. I don't know. But right now, they don't really have a whole lot of a use. They just kind of exist. They're cute. Another thing that you can collect. This is a little beehive smoker. You can make wax in here as well as honey. This is something that you collect through a quest. So that's my little sky city that I have going on right now. I can show you one other spot that I have in the Albany Summits. I was kind of starting to make it my second base, but we'll go there. Let me pull up my map. Okay, so this is one that I've been working on lately. This is high up in the mountains. So you can see looking down. And I picked this location because I kind of wanted to be close to, see those like floating islands? That part of the game is restricted access right now, so you can't get to it. But in some update it will, so I wanted to kind of be close to it because they're doing something over there. And I didn't want to have to struggle to reach those heights. So I'm already at a good spot. Also, I wanted a cool spot up in the mountains, like the snowy scenery and the different materials. So this material here is granite. It makes really cool patios when you put that down. Nice big bonfire to keep warm because up here it's very cold. You need to also have clothing that can withstand the cold, which is interesting because you don't need specific clothing to survive the heat in the Kindle Wastes, but you do need padded warm clothing for the high cold mountains. So this is basically made out of conifer wood. Conifers are these trees, pine trees. Looks really fancy, and then the stone is granite. Some of the other resources you can get up here in the mountains, there's more iron, and it's one of the only spots that you can get silver. So I started making this. It's more of like a rustic cabin, mountain lodge type thing. Again, the fancier table, the obsidian, the conifer, and then this is actually silver. Plates, bowls, vases, candlesticks. Just kind of showing you around quickly. Got a nice little bedroom here. This is some of the furniture you can get up in higher levels. Made out of the conifer wood. Kind of goes with the whole. It matches the building blocks. There's different levels up here. Got extra rooms. Haven't moved anybody yet, but I was thinking about moving, since this will be my secondary base. Like, for example, some of the survivors that also have skills. So, for example, the carpenter's aunt. I could bring either him or her over here. So, if I'm over here, she can create things for me. If I'm over at the other base, the other one could. You don't need to have them both in the same place if they can do the same thing. They can be split up. This is another little secondary house I was building, potentially for one of the survivors. And since it's down the mountain, you gotta go down some steps. Also, let's see, yeah, that's there. And I got another little hidden away one over here, which is actually in the side of the mountain. I haven't done anything with it yet. Started just carving out the inside of the mountain. Thought it would be a cool little spot, and I wanted to use one of these circular doors that I hadn't gotten a chance to use for anything yet. So we'll see what I do with that. And yes, the snow, when you walk through it, it kind of collects on you. It slows you down a bit. And you do have limited time in the cold before you die. So this is the secondary house. It was also going to be for some more of the survivors. This one also, I built a basement that has outdoor access only, so kind of more like a storage cellar. Nothing in here yet except for a little magic chest. Threw some stuff that I'm going to be using in this little land but haven't used yet. So again, some books, kettles, different building materials that I had that I use over here. So that's what it looks like up here. This is my level 35 world. Started building bases, you know, this basic starter base. Found a new area that I liked when I unlocked a level. Started building a base there. I don't know, a lot of like building and undoing. And if you decide that you don't want to use a base anymore that you built, you can destroy everything and take back the materials. Or you can also just, put out your flame, and what you built will be there for some time, but eventually it may go away or be overtaken by other characters in the game, and it will no longer be like a safe spot. But eventually it'll go away in some update when they do something with that area. So unless you have a flame there, it's not protected, it won't be saved. Alright, so we're going to start over and create an all new account, all new world, new character, so you guys can see play from the beginning. So I'm going to quit to desktop. Actually, return to main menu. Return to the main menu. And I'm going to create a new character. So when you create a new character, you can choose from some of the presets, and then you can change some of their features. And it looks like, I don't know. I can't tell if they've, I think they may have added some since I first started. I think there was only a handful. I don't remember, like, the elderly woman. I don't remember as many options. But either way, you can create your own. So I'm going to start with... I'm going to start with this lady here. You can change their skin color. I'm going to give her a little bit of a tan. For the hair, you can choose the hairstyle. Whatever hairstyle you like. Let me see what kind. I think I'm gonna go with kind of like that one. I'm gonna give her a little ponytail. Yeah, we're gonna do this. This is a little different. Ponytail with the shaved sides. And then we can choose a hair color. I'm gonna do black hair. Beard. I do not want her to have a beard, so no beard. And for eyes, kind of like the green. So I'm going to stick with the green eyes. And eyebrows, I'm going to leave... I'm going to do the black, match her hair. Now here you can pick a voice for your character. And they don't do a whole lot of talking, but you know, when they make their little sounds when they jump or get hit. So not a whole lot of choices, but we'll click through them and see. Okay, so top ones are the female voices, and the bottom ones are the male voices. I'm gonna go with the middle one. Sounds like a little bit louder, so hopefully it'll be easier to hear. Character. We're gonna name her Baby for baby mode, which is the name of our channel. Okay, so we are creating our character. Alright, so once you create your character, you get to a screen like this. You can pick play a private game, host a game, or join an online game. When I'm just playing by myself, I play privately, and then sometimes when I feel like playing with other people, friends, I will do host a game, and you can give your friends the access code and set the different levels of access that they have. Want to make sure, especially if you're playing with people that you don't know, that you do not give them full administrative access, because they could take your resources, you know, remove altars, stuff like that. So if you decide to host one, definitely want to make sure you're strategic about the settings and who you play with and who you grant what settings to. So we're going to do a private game, and we're going to create a new world. As you can see, this is my old world. And I got that up to flame level 8. So we're going to start a new world, and we're going to call this baby mode world. And here you can start... Oops, excuse me. Okay, so this is where you get the option to initially set the difficulty level for your world. This feature was not available initially when the game first came out, and for a very long time. It was later in the fall that they rolled out this feature where you could set the difficulty levels, but you have the option of relaxed mode, which is the most relaxed and easiest. There's also the default one, which is what it would normally just start at. That is what it was initially at when the game launched. Just a generic level. Then you have hard, and you have survival. So this is even less forgiving than the hard mode. And then this last one with the little feather, this is custom, and this is what I do. I like to play it on baby mode because I want a more relaxed experience, something more akin to like a cozy gaming. Again, like I said, I prefer the creative aspects, the building, the exploring. Less interested in the fighting and the struggle. So, enemy damage. Enemy damage, we're going to pull it all the way down to 25%. boss damage, again, pulling it all the way down. Enemy health, same. Boss health, same. If we have to fight enemies, we want it to be easy as possible. Pacify enemies. If you select this option, they won't attack you until you attack them. So they'll just be wandering around. So you can go into villages or areas where there's enemies and just walk through without getting attacked. Soon as you take a swing at them, and it could be accidental when you're trying to, mine for a resource, they take it as a swing at them, then they'll start coming after you. So we're going to turn that on. Simultaneous enemy attacks. You know what? For gathering resources, and since we've put down the difficulty, the damage that they can inflict, we're going to turn this one up. Simultaneous. So this will control how many enemies can come at you at once. And you might not understand why I'm actually increasing the level on this one. It's because they're weak. So it'll be easy to take care of them. And when you slay enemies, you collect resources from them. So strategically, if we increase this, we'll gain more resources more quickly. And then enemy attack frequency, we'll put it down to 75%. And again, enemy amount, we'll keep it at more. You can even go to many. I'm going to keep it at more, just so we can gather more resources. Now this is the player settings. Unlike the enemies, we're going to max these out. Player health, 400%. Player mana, 400. Stamina, 400. Body heat, 200. Mining, definitely want to increase that because then you get more out of your mining efforts. And we're going to max out exploration and quest XP. Same with combat. Survival mode, we don't want to starve. We're going to turn that off. That just makes it harder. Time into starvation, we've turned it off so it doesn't really matter, but we'll max out at 20. Time in the shroud, we're going to increase it to 200%. This determines how long you can stay in the shroud areas. Loot loss on death. This is one of the things that I hated the most about dying. Which is you lose everything and then you have to get back to that spot where you lost it and collect it again. We're going to turn this off. We're going to keep everything when we die. And on baby mode, there really shouldn't be too many instances when you die because we have, the damage that the enemies can inflict on you down to a minimum. The only times you'll die is if you jump from too high of a height, don't have your glider on, crash into something, or you're flying and you overestimate the amount of stamina that you have left and you kind of just lose it in mid-flight, end up crashing, that kind of thing. And when you die, you can just respawn and you'll have all your stuff. Day duration, I like my days to be long, so you can do more in the day. So let's set 2, 4, 12, 30, 45. We'll do 45. For a longer day. And then the night duration, We'll put the night down to 2 minutes. So 45-minute days, 2-minute nights. That means we don't have to sleep as long. Food buff, we'll put that up to 200%. Weapon durability. So that refers to, your weapons break after you use them for a while. They wear out. We're going to turn weapon durability off so we don't have to worry about our weapons breaking and having to repair them all the time. Harsher weather occurrences. So this is one of the newer features. It also rolled out in the game later in 2004, which is weather. Weather, the rain can cause you to get wet and colder faster. We're going to put weather at normal. I don't mind the weather. You do get some funny drafts sometimes higher up in the sky from the weather. Glider turbulence. I'm going to turn it off. Sometimes when you're up in the sky, you get some turbulence. Kind of messes with the trajectory of your flight. I want it in easy mode. Taming startle repercussion. So when you startle an animal and you're trying to collect one, become one of your pets or farm animals, if you scare them during it, this is what this setting. I don't want to lose all progress. I want to keep my progress. Definitely trying to make this easy. And then workshop productions. Okay, so resources. And we want to max everything out here. We want things to be built quickly. We want our plants to grow fast. We want to reduce the cost of upgrades. Increase the recycling yield. Yeah. Mining damage. So we will increase that. So it causes more terraforming, so more impact on the earth, but you get more resources per hit. So we want to get as many resources as we can, especially when you're playing in, as a single player. It can take some time to get adequate resources. So we want to put everything in our favor. And then loot amount. Who doesn't want to get more loot? We're going to max that out to 200%. Alright, so we got all our difficulty levels set. This is the ultimate baby mode. Once we have that set, we're going to go escape. And we are going to create our world. And we are going to play it.
It was a cure, a blessing, a weapon. Once concealed by the ancients, its might had been set free. With it came power, mistrust, and a longing for more. Humanity dug the elixir wells, ripping apart the land and each other to quench their thirst. Elixir and blood, a drop for a drop. But from the depths of the well, an unforeseen curse crept into Embervale. The shroud, a ruinous fog which sought only to spread and devour. Facing their downfall, ancients and humans united to forge the flame war. Now, your time has come. Awake.
Okay, so that was the intro to the lore behind the story. Here we emerge from a little add. And again, you see we're just dressed in the clothing that we started out with when we selected our character. This, where we are, is called the Cinder Vault. This is the starting location on our map. So we're going to go through the doors. And it looks like... So here is our first one. We will interact with the flame. I do not remember a lot of this stuff. So as you're playing the game, you can press the space bar to kind of skip through that a little more quickly. We got our very first recipe unlocked, which is for Flame Altar, which is what you need to put down a base, and that is our very first quest. So we're going to go out this next set of doors, out into the world of Embervale, and we want to claim a spot for our base. If you see question marks and stuff, you can read the things. Kind of gives you some tips. When you see glowy things, you want to read them. This adds to the lore that you collect, all the different stories, more of the knowledge behind what happened to Embervale. You read it. Alright. So, we want to climb down. I'm not used to playing this game without a glider. So we're going to climb down. And as you come across things, you're going to want to harvest them, collect them. So we're going to collect that. So our first quest is to build a base. And one of the best spots to build bases is down below. So we want to get down there. I do not remember how we got down there before. Ooh, so we got our first torch. Definitely need torches in a lot of the darker environments. I think we're going to just go down here. This should help us get down to where we need to go, hopefully. It's been a very long time since I've played at this lower level, and I have not started over from scratch. So we will see where we land. Uh-oh, what happened to my torch? Where did my torch go? Did I drop it? Why did I drop my torch? Okay. Definitely don't want to lose that torch, because we don't have a whole lot of stuff right now. Okay, so if you see down here, you can see the blue glowy stuff in the fog. That is the shroud. The fog is the shroud. And you can only spend a limited amount of time in the shroud. And there's a timer, it'll tell you. If you've been in there too long, or if you go into a shroud level that exceeds your abilities, you'll be notified of that as well. And you'll see your timer go down very quickly. Man, I cannot remember how to get down there. Let's go follow the path. Let's see. Oh, I'm tempted to just jump. Nope. We're not gonna jump. Gotta find a way to climb down. Okay, that wasn't that bad of a fall. see, oop, fell. And you can see I took some damage up there at the top. That's my level. And you can hear the heartbeat. So I took a fall and definitely am feeling it. Gonna need to rest. At this point, we don't have any bandages or anything that will heal us. There's a lot of wolves around here, but they're not gonna attack us because we put it on baby mode. So they aren't gonna attack us until we try to attack them. If I take a swing at one of them, then they will definitely attack me. And at this point, I don't have anything to defend myself other than my fists. So I'm not going to go after them. As you can see, as we're collecting things, we unlock different recipes. So we unlocked a recipe to make string. Plant fiber is what you need to make string. And we're going to collect all of these bushes. These berries will come in handy for us. And food can help you feel better too. So we're going to eat a berry. We're going to use one of these. Hopefully this will help us, regenerate from that fall damage that we took. And we want to find a nice... We're going to get to the plains. And you can see where the location it wants us to go is this glowy red. This is the plains. And this is, where they suggest that you build your very first base. Wouldn't invest a whole lot of time in finding the ideal location for your first base, because as you progress through the game, you're going to find other spots that you like better. So, but for now, we're going to we'll find a spot over here, a good open spot to build a very basic little house. And we're going to want to get to crafting. So that's V. Okay. So before we can even put down our flame altar, we need to get some stone. So we're press escape, go back. We don't need our torch now, it's bright out, so I don't know why I'm carrying that. But we can find like these little stones. We can start by collecting stones. So as we got that, that also unlocked a recipe for an axe. It's a very basic stone axe, but oh, and rough stone block. So we're going to need some of these blocks. So we need to find little stones, because that's all we can really collect at this point, until we get better weapons. Well, I think we might have enough stones now to put down for our base. But I see a couple more over here, so I'll grab some of those, because we want those for some of our building materials anyway. You can see I don't have a whole lot of stamina. You can hear her breathing heavily. That was too big. See, we can bust open these rocks with our fists. Okay, so there we go. We are going to V for crafting. We are going to craft our first flame altar. So press spacebar to craft that. And then we're going to find a spot to put it down. And as you go to set it down to, you can see the yellow line. That's going to be the area that you have to build in. I have mine kind of up by this path. So I'm going to put it here. So this is our flame. Commune with the flame. So this kind of tells you there's other survivors out there. We're not alone in this world. And the survivors are the people that I introduced you to earlier in the video. You got the carpenter, the collector, the farmer, hunter, the bard, um, all those people who will help you rebuild the world. So we got our flame altar, and we will want to upgrade the altar in order to increase the building space that we have. You'll see what you need to upgrade the altar. So this one we need 1 shroud core to get it up to level 2. So we'll have to venture into the shroud shortly. You can get the shroud core usually by killing enemies in the shroud. A lot of them are carrying shroud cores. And that was one of the reasons that I increased the number of enemies that we'll encounter throughout the game, because you'll be able to collect shroud cores more quickly. And once you get up to upgrading the flame altar even higher, you'll need more. You need more and more for each level. And that's just upgrading the building area. You'll also want to strengthen the flame. So you can get up to flame level 8, and with each level that you upgrade it, it unlocks, other parts on the map that you can go to. But again, each level requires more and more resources, and it's different for each one. So resin, you can get that from the trees when you're chopping trees down. The trees that have like orange, brown, reddish leaves are more likely to drop resin. Red mushrooms, you find those all over the place, especially in these lower levels here. Bones you can collect by slaying enemies. You can also sometimes find them laying around. Shroud liquid, you gather those in the shroud. Usually there's these little mushroom-like things that you can collect. Also some of the trees I think have it. Sparks you get from visiting different flame shrines. You can collect the sparks. And animal fur you get by killing wolves and other animals that have fur. So once you collect a certain number of each of these, you can upgrade or strengthen your flame. And when you strengthen your flame, it gives you access to different shroud levels. And it also increases the amount of time that you can spend in the shroud. Okay, so we have our very first flame altar set down. And I think we want to craft. Let's see what we can craft at this point. We're going to need an axe and a pickaxe. So the axe will help us chop down trees. Pickaxe will help us get stone. We need both those to be able to build a house. So let's see, for these, looks like we just need string. And to make string, it's really easy. You just need plant fiber. So we'll just make a bunch of string right now. And now we have enough string to make an axe. And then also to make a pickaxe. And we also unlocked a recipe for a rake. A rake is good for flattening the ground or kind of making the terrain similar. We'll also want to get a bow so that we can hunt, but we're going to need to collect some twigs. So we'll chop down some trees and we'll collect the things to do that. And then we're also going to want to make a workbench right away, so that we can use some of the materials that we're collecting. So we're going to collect a bunch of wood and a bunch of stone so that we can build our first base, a little house. Because we're going to need that for sleeping and for shelter. And then also when we collect our survivors, they're going to need a place to live as well. So while it's daylight, and since we just created our axe and our pickaxe, we are going to go and get some resources. And then we'll get a bow because we're also going to need to kill some animals to be able to get some fur and stuff for beds and warmth. So to chop down trees, you just walk up to one of them with the axe and hold down the left button on your mouse, chops down the trees. And then you want to make sure you pick up all the loot. And again, you see we unlocked the shield. Early in the game here, we're going to unlock a lot of things. So we unlocked rough wood block, and I think we already unlocked the rough stone block. And these are the intro level blocks that you can get earlier in the game. As you progress through the game, you get nicer and nicer resources, and you can build fancier. But again, we're starting out in a new world. We don't know if anybody else is out there. We're working with the basics. So here, see, this was a brown reddish tree. This is resin. Those always drop at least one. And the bigger the tree, the longer it takes to get your resources. But the more, it's a bigger yield. Sorry about that. Knocked something. So you want to make sure you collect them all. Got the wood. And if you ever want to see what you have, press the B button. This shows you your backpack. So we just have a basic small backpack right now. So you can see our backpack. We have plant fiber. We got wood, stone, string, twigs, resin. And then this is kind of our current action bar. The stuff that's readily accessible to us while we're walking around. You know, you kind of flip back and forth between those two rows with the alt button. And actually, I'm going to put the berries up here and the mushrooms because those aren't items that I need quick access to. And I like to have my weapons and tools first. Okay, so we're going to continue to collect more wood. We're going to need a lot of wood to build a little house. Again, collect plants. Now, if you're playing this game on regular or hard, you would see that your axe would start to take some damage. But because we turn damage off, we will be able to chop forever. And these stumps, partial trees, you get some wood out of them, but you don't generally get as much as a full tree. But hey, it's wood. So we're going to grab it. Grab some more of that. Grab the stones that we can get. In the early part of these games, you're going to be doing a lot of resource collecting. Especially, ooh, here's a dead bunny. See, it's already dead. It's got the little sparkles around it. So we can loot it and we get some meat. You can't eat the raw meat. You have to start a fire to cook the meat. If you eat like raw meats, then you get food poisoning. Which in baby mode doesn't affect you a whole lot, but in, you know, regular difficulties, it will definitely cause some setbacks. Now, if you can hear in the background, I hear some wolves growling. Again, we don't have to worry because we're in easy mode. They're not going to come after us unless we try to go after them. But we are going to need to catch some of them at some point soon because we're going to need some fur for our beds. Because we can't make beds without fur. Or at least some more advanced ones. let's see where we're at with our resources. We got 250 logs. Oh, and 152. So the biggest stacks. So different resources come in stacks. And you'll, as you play, you'll find out how many you can stack. For wood, it's in stacks of 250. I think it's similar for the stone. Some of the items, like when you create blocks of a specific building resource, you can have a stack of up to like 9,999. So this is what we have. I'm gonna put this up here. And when you have these up here, you can press the T button and it will sort everything for you. Keeps it a little more organized. So let's see. One of the other things that we need to build is a workbench. So we're going to build a workbench and a construction hammer. Construction hammer you'll need throughout the entire game, as well as a workbench. Where we initially put this workbench doesn't really matter. We can always move it. So we're just going to put it close to our altar because we're going to build around it. And if you press the R button, it rotates the object that you have selected around. So we're just going to place it down there. You place it by just clicking on the mouse. Construction hammer, you just want to keep in your action bar. And I'm going to move it to here. I don't like to have it on the same bar that I have my weapons. So I don't accidentally scroll on it when I need to. So from here, now we can build more things. So before we only had manual crafting, which is by pressing the V button. You can do flame altar, workbench, hammer, a very basic campfire, string, axes, pickaxe, torch. And we did unlock some weapons, so we're going to need those. We're going to get our bow. And we'll get a shield. And these are the very basic level ones. Oh, we could do a club too. I don't tend to use clubs a lot. But we don't have any swords. I like to use the swords and the bow and arrows. Oh, and we also need arrows. So we're going to max out the number of arrows that we can do here. Okay, so we made 180 arrows. That's not a whole lot, but it'll work for a while. Okay, so that is the manual crafting items that we could do. Now that we have the workbench, we go up to the workbench, press E to craft different items. You can see the different things that we've unlocked. So one of the big ones that you want to get is a glider. So we're going to have to go scavenging for some different things. This glider will help you fly around the map. It helps you go farther and reach places, that you wouldn't otherwise. You can fly or glide down to spots on the map rather than jumping and crashing and getting injured like we did. Grappling hook, you also want to make one of those that helps you reach other areas as well. And then storage, I showed you in my other world the storage that I had starting, I had some magical storage chests as well as just some regular ones. This is a very basic first one that you get. You get the tiny one. As you progress, you can, get the small, medium, large, and I think the biggest one is the massive. And then, obviously, equivalent, you can also get the magical ones. We unlocked 2 building blocks. The most basic ones, rough stone and rough wood. And we got a roof block, which is also the most basic one, which is a plant fiber. So for that, you collect a lot of plant fiber. We got some road blocks as well. Dirt roads, smooth stone road blocks, and rocky stone road blocks. There's a lot of different ones you can get through the games. I'll be honest, I don't use the road blocks a whole lot. Don't really find a lot of use for them. And then the rake. And as you can hear, it is raining out there. So we're going to make some blocks because we need to get a shelter built. And you can just press the space bar, you can spam the space bar, or you can press shift and space and make 10 at a time. Okay, and you can see we also, as we did that, unlocked a window frame. I'm gonna max out the number of wood blocks. Actually, I'm not gonna max it out. 10,000 should be more than plenty for a starter home. And then plant fiber, we're definitely gonna need to go get more plants. Okay, so we only got 900 there. Okay, so we need to get a shelter built. So to start building, you want to go to the construction hammer and you're going to press tab to enter building mode. Now, since we're just starting, it's giving some tutorial stuff. You select the shape you want to build with, and then the material, and then you can get different shape categories. So here, the shape category I want to get to, so you press Alt button to pop up more. I'm going to go to the 4, and what I'm looking for is this one. This one I find makes a good base. Now you would think, this says foundation, and it's good, but look how many blocks it uses. So it shows you first 2,000 over 256. So this block uses 256 every time you use it. You're going to go through those really quickly. I like to use this flat one. This only uses 64. And then before you start building, another thing that you want to make sure you have on is snapping. So in the bottom right hand corner it says use snapping. You can turn that on and off by pressing X on your keyboard. We have it on. You can run into some problems with if you're building without using snapping, especially when you come to like wanting to put a roof on. If everything is not lined up correctly, it can throw things off and it doesn't look pretty. Turning snapping off later as you get into more advanced building, there are advantages to turning it off at times, but definitely when getting started, make sure that it's turned on. So we're going to use these flat ones to build the base of our building, and you just click where you want it, and it puts it down. We're going to do a stone base. And this is the rough stone, and yes, it looks rough. That's just how it is. I mean, you can still see as we're building, when you're in building mode, you see the yellow boundary lines. And I'm gonna want to move our little workbench, actually. So I'm gonna get out of building mode, pick up the workbench, and I'm just gonna set it over here for now. For now, it doesn't matter where it goes. And then go back to building mode. Okay, so we have a basic base here for our house. I want to switch to wood. Actually, no, I'm going to do half walls around the bottom. So press Alt and we go up to the 2. And then this little square, it's like a partial wall. And you can see it is turning night and we don't have a bed yet, so I'm not going to be able to sleep. We're going to build through the night. But we're okay because our nights are very short. I think we set them to like 2 minutes long. But once you do have a bed, definitely want to make sure you do rest as it increases your stamina and endurance. So I'm adding this because I want to have kind of like a split level. I don't want the flame altar to be the first thing you come across when you enter the house, and I didn't really feel like digging out the ground this time to do a basement. This will be like a mini basement. Okay, so we're gonna build some steps going up. Actually, the smaller steps. And I'm gonna go back to my little flat piece here and snap on some flooring. Actually, wait, I want wood flooring. So to change your material type, that's over on the right hand side of this screen. You can see we have the rough stone and the rough wood. You press control and use your scroll wheel. So we're gonna do rough wood. And it's day again. So I'm gonna do wooden floors on the inside, because I don't want my whole house to be stone. The wood makes it a little homier. I'm gonna, let's see. So you can remove things. You place them by pressing the left button, but you can remove them by kind of highlighting it. You see how it's highlighted in blue, and then pressing the right button. So I remove that so I can get to this. I'm gonna move this again. I'm gonna have the flame down here and kind of like a little basement thing. I don't know. Remove that. I'm gonna put some more steps. Oh, I don't want that there. There. Okay. And then we will do this small block. We'll fill that in. I'm gonna do this little wall piece. We don't really need this little crawl space that we created. This just kind of encloses our little flame altar. The flame altar lets you fast travel around the map. And this is just our starter home, so I really don't care what it looks like. It's going to be our basic first level. So we're going to get some walls going up here. Of a doorway. I'm going to put my door over here where I got the steps. And I'm going to put a partial wall piece next to it. There. Okay. Put in some windows. sure you have some windows because that'll let some light into your buildings. Otherwise, they get really dark in there, especially when you're using certain materials. So you want to let natural light get in, especially early on when you don't have access to as many interior lighting options. Okay, so we got a basic first level here. If you want like higher vaulted ceilings, I recommend doing like this regular large block, the 4 meter, and then going to the 2 meter and adding a layer of this on top, and that gives you slightly higher ceilings. So it makes it more spacious inside, and if you're adding things like stairs, you have more room. So we'll just do a quick little layer, because we're going to have the little bit higher ceilings. And I'm just going to make this a 2-story house, because we'll want some other spaces when we get our survivors, so they have some room. Stairs. So let's see. See how this works here. And then a little landing. And then we'll have a couple more stairs going up. Actually, we'll do the small stairs, and we'll do 2 of them right by side each other. Okay. So we got our stairs, and then we're going to add a floor again. We're going to use the flat block like we always do. And with the snapping, it just makes it easy. It connects it easily throughout. You want to make sure you don't cover up the actual stairs. So you need to have enough clearance to walk through. So just when you're putting that in, keep that in mind. Okay. Now we just need to put in 2nd floor walls, and then we will do our roof. And for the 2nd floor, for the top floor that you do, you don't need to add that extra half layer, because when you put the roof on, it will give you that extra ceiling space already, unless you decide that you want to create like a separate attic space and have a floor as well. But for this, I don't think we're going to do that. We'll just have our higher ceilings. So now we have this, and we're going to want to do a roof. So press Alt and scroll down to the roof. So we're going to do the 4-meter roof. I like to start with the corners, so you can rotate those, and then see how it just snaps into the corner. It's very nice. When you don't use snapping, that sometimes is off, and you can tell that it's lined up because the corners there match up nicely. I put on the corners. I always like to do the corners first just to make sure that I got everything lined up good, and then you can put in the straight pieces. And this sometimes gets a little tricky. I'm gonna put some flooring in just so I can reach it, and then I'll remove it. We don't have scaffolding or anything like that yet. Okay, then we go to this roof side piece, and that's what we will use to fill in all these other blanks here. See how they nicely fit together? You can see there's still a space up there, and we have run out of materials. So we need to go collect more plant fibers so we can put on the top. For the top, we would use these smaller pieces. So this one of these at each end, and then this piece in the middle, and it'll do a nice peak. So before we can finish this, we gotta go collect more plants. Ooh, and I need to remove this.